We use a lot of methods in our TicTacTo mod for MP7. So one of them is set size, which takes an in parameter, which is essentially number of players. So if it's two, then the board size is three. If otherwise it's five, and if it's not two or three, then we ask the user to enter a valid input. Uh, Create board just essentially creates the board using an in parameter, which is the size. Default board just fills any unfilled element in the board with a dash. Uh, Next player char 3 and next player char 5, which Lucas will explain later, is used to assign the next player's character. So if the first player chooses X, the next player is O, and so on. Fill board just fills the specified coordinates by a player with that player's character, that is X, Y, or 0. A display board just displays the current board. Consecutive LM3 and LM5 take consecutive elements as parameters and check if they have the same character, if they have X, O, or Y. Consecutive row 3, row 5, column 3, column 5, and diagonal 3 and diagonal 5 use the consecutive LM functions to check if there are consecutive elements in the row, diagonal, or column, and then they return true if there are consecutive elements, and then winner uses this. So if consecutive row 3 is true, consecutive column 3 is true, consecutive diagonal 3 is true, or row 5, column 5, or diagonal 5, all either of them are true, then the winner function returns true, which means we have a winner.
In the main function, we start with a basic user interface by printing welcome and instructions. We used the while true loop to take care of invalid user inputs. We then store all the input variables to private static variables we declared in the beginning of the class. With all these variables in place, we now call the constructor that will set the size of board 3 by 3 or 5 by 5 depending on what the user wants, and then create the board and fill it up with default attached characters. We then ask the user to choose the row and the column to place their character. It will check if the cell is within the board or if the cell is already occupied. If the user input is valid, it will call the fillBoard function to insert the character to that cell. It will then display the board and check if there is a winner. If there is no winner, it will check if the board is full, which would indicate a draw. If the board is neither full nor a draw, it will call next player character function to change the player, go back to the beginning of the function, and request a new input from next user. It will keep repeating this until there's a winner or the board gets filled up.
Hi, so this is a demonstration of our tic-tac-toe game. I already selected the number of players as 2 and my first character as X. So now I'm going to place my first character in a block with choosing my row and column. So there my X is displayed. And the next player will place it somewhere. So say the next player places it over here. And there you go. This O has been displayed now. Now I want to display it somewhere else. Yeah, there you go. Now say the player 2 is really dumb, so he puts it at 0 comma 2, and there's the O, and now I have a chance to win, so I'm going to win, and there you go. Now there's the winner.